Bottom line, life never is easy and never is perfect, and the place or the certain city does not make it like this. You make it. You, your attitude, and your family, your friends, the people that surround you, this is what makes the life good and makes you happy. So I believe that people have to stop thinking and focusing on the locations, and they have to start focusing on themselves and what they can do in order for them to be happy.
This is the Back to Bulgaria podcast. Discover life in Bulgaria, one story at a time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Back to Bulgaria podcast. I am your host, Katia Andreeva. In this podcast, we help you gain perspective of life in Bulgaria, what it's like to live and thrive here. Our aim is to showcase amazing stories of people who have chosen to move or stay here. From the basics of living to Bulgaria to building a career and a business, we discuss topics that matter to those who are making a real impact and creating change here in Bulgaria. I'm very excited to talk with a very ambitious woman who has studied abroad and also worked abroad in the US and Germany. She always has had this idea of living abroad ever since she was a kid, and to start something of her own, until one day she decided, hey, maybe I can do something here in Bulgaria. So she took the step, and she has created a very successful, I'd say, coffee place here in Sofia. So join me in welcoming the lovely Anes Malkanova-Skrinjaric. She is the barista and co-owner of the Martinez Coffee Shop and Roastery here in Sofia. And I'm very happy to have you in this podcast. So how are you doing today?
Hello, Kathy, and hello to your audience. Well, I feel pretty awesome today because the weather finally it's warming up. It's a pleasure to be in your podcast. I hope that we're gonna make a really interesting episode.
Yeah, I'm sure of that because your story is really interesting. So the way how I met you initially was I was here for a week in Sofia, and I Googled coffee places and your coffee place popped up, and I was lucky enough to find you there. And we had some interesting conversations, and I'm like, this is the place I'm going for coffee. And plus her coffee is really good.
Thank you.
And when we were there, I knew for sure after talking to you a few times that I want to have you on our podcast because I've seen how you've built this community around coffee, and we've had some very good discussions about life here in Bulgaria, and I find it very inspirational and motivating. So that's why I want to have you here today. And let's start a bit on how you decided to study and work abroad. How did that start?
Okay, my first interaction, apart of traveling just for some kind of like a short trips or vacation, was when I was my first year in the university. I learned from friends that there is this program called Work and Travel, which the US Embassy in Bulgaria gives you the right for you to go for 3 months of working plus 1 month of traveling with a specific visa, J1, if I'm not wrong. And this helps you to improve your skills, to get a pretty cool experience, and to improve your English mainly. So I had this friend that she introduced me to this program. We signed up together, and by the end of the day, she couldn't pass her exams. So I ended up traveling all by myself for first time in the plane, first time, let's say, without my parents abroad. And like literally, I was thrown to the deep, deep water by myself. Going back now, I think that was an amazing choice. I learned so much. I carved myself, my whole, let's say, personality there. I was totally out of my comfort zone, and I love it. And I recommend it everyone that is in this position. They're studying and they have the ability to go for this program, to do it, because I believe that it's a pretty good experience.
So yeah, you went to study, not study, but you went to work abroad. In which state were you in the US?
Well, I was in Ohio State. I did this 3 times through my whole bachelor study. The whole 3 times I was there, I was coming back to the same place. I found my place there, let's say my people, my friends. What I was doing though, because I think that it's also interesting, I was trying every summer different jobs. So when they asked me when you have been working in USA, and I start mentioning all the things that I've done, the people were like, how many years you've been there? But yeah, actually, I was going like 3 seasons, and every season I was working between 2 to 3 different jobs.
Wow.
Because I just wanted to take everything, like the full experience.
So when you do this work abroad things, you can work more than one job at once.
Yes, you can, and like maybe 99% of the people they do so, because the main reason why most of the students they go for this program is to make money. Indeed, you make good money, but you just have to work pretty hard. I mean, like talking like between 12 to 16 hours a day. My second summer, I was doing 3 jobs, and I was working like 18 hours a day on the weekends, and on the weekdays was like at least 16 hours, which is quite a lot. But you just do, first of all, you're really young, and you're full of energy. You sleep like 2-3 hours and you're ready to go. And in the same time, you take the advantage to make a lot of money. Money that probably you cannot make here during the summer season working any kind of job in Bulgaria. I think so.
And also what I've heard quite a lot, I think, from you and other people that I've seen do this work abroad is that you save money and then you spend it actually in traveling within the US.
Well, this is the idea. My first 2 years, I did not do this. I just took a few days of vacation, and I tried to come back with as many as possible. I mean, as much money as possible. So in this case, I can reinvest them for the next season, for the next year, because this whole experience, it's not quite expensive, but it is for a student, let's say, without a job. The last summer, because I knew that was my last summer, I took a little bit of extra time and I travel. I think we passed like 6 states, things like Vegas, Grand Canyon, LA, San Francisco, and so on, the Central and the West Coast. And this year I bought a laptop, I bought a lot of things. I just did my best because I knew that this was going to be the last one. And yeah.
So within your studies then, which year did you study in Germany?
Germany was my 4th year that I was in the university, the first semester. Basically, right after I came back from USA, I had just like maybe 1 or 2 days in Bulgaria, and then right away I left for another 6 months in Germany.
And why Germany out of all places? Why did you decide to do your semester abroad in Germany?
Long story short, there is this program Erasmus. I believe that a lot of people are aware about it. It gives you the ability for you to go for a semester or a full year abroad. You receive also some kind of money for you to live there, to pay your rent, your bills. And the idea is for you to exchange experience. So they send students from another universities to Bulgaria, and the Bulgarian students go to universities in abroad in Europe. So my friends, they were pretty into this. My 3rd year in the university, I applied. They accept me in Czech Republic, and I freaked out. I was not sure if I'm going to make it all by myself. I wasn't ready yet.
But you already had been in the US several times. Why did you figure out going to Germany or Czech Republic?
Well, it's a different thing. I mean, one thing is for you to sell T-shirts, and another thing is to do economics and have exams and get the grades that you need to, let's say, then to use them for your career, for your degree. So that's why I freaked out. I refused to go, and then the 4th year again, by this time I had a boyfriend that he was really into this program, so he told me, come on, we have to do it. It's like, all of our friends are going and this is our last year. We totally have to do it. And I said, okay, you know what? Forget about this. I'm not going to Slovakia, Czech Republic, and these kind of places, because these kind of places usually are the first choices because it's pretty easy for you to be accepted there. But this time I said, you know what? If I'm going, I'm just going to apply in the 3 places that I would love to go there, to live there, and to get everything out of it. So the places were Amsterdam, Paris, and the only university in Germany because there was just one option. There was one really small village town. Of course, they accept me in Germany, and my parents told me, hey, you have been studying like German 16 years. It's a shame for you not to go. This is a lifetime opportunity, and we do not get no as answer. We don't accept no as answer, so you're going. And literally, they pushed me in the bus for me to go there. I didn't want to go. I wanted to stay. I was, of course, my by this time, this boyfriend that I had, by the moment that I was traveling already, we broke up. So was not even valid anymore. And there became the, let's say, the change of my life.
The change of your life.
Yeah.
So you've told me in the past that you also had this dream of actually living always abroad, not really that you would build a life here in Bulgaria. Can we delve into why? Why was it always in your mind that you will go somewhere to the West, let's say, and not stay here?
Since first grade, I have been studying in language schools. I started with German and Russian. Then I was with English. I always was really good in learning new languages. For me, this was really easy. I like to travel, and of course my parents, they have never been like really strict on this topic, but they always wanted. I mean, they were always, let's say, building a idea in my head that I have to go to live in Germany, mainly because this was the main language that I was studying. I was in a German school, so it's like the extension of this thing, like it's pretty natural extension of continuing of the learning language here. So they were always like saying this between the lines, like joking, yeah, you're gonna get married for a foreigner, you're gonna live somewhere in Germany or something like this. And then at some point I started, let's say, accepting this idea that there is no future here. I have to live somewhere abroad, maybe Germany, because Germany looks like pretty awesome place. And yeah, I mean, of course, when I went to USA, I was also really into staying there. I really wanted to find, I mean, the easiest option, of course, to get married for a American guy and just to stay there. I had many options to stay there, but I never chose them, and there was a reason why. I mean, now coming back, I understand why I didn't stay, but by this time I was like really, oh my God, I have to be there, I have to stay in USA, or I have to stay in Germany or something like this. And I was always imagining that I have to be somewhere abroad.
Yeah, it's interesting what impact parents have on our lives, and they always aim for the best, right? They want us to have great lives, but they don't always realize that you have your own life and you can take control of it at one point. And which brings me to what brought you to the moment that you thought, Bulgaria, I can live here. I don't need to be abroad.
Okay, so coming back to the story, let's say continuing the story of Germany, on the third date after I went to the university, I stopped my rebellion against my parents, why they sent me there, stopped complaining, and everything was just quiet. Why? Because I met Alex, who currently now is my husband. He's from Peru. So just to give a little bit of information for the auditory, as soon as you arrive in the university, the first 2 weeks you have like orientational weeks that you're only doing activities with the rest of the international students, and you take classes in the language that is of the country. In our case, German. So this is where I found him. I mean, I met him in the German class. I was sounds a little bit like cheesy, but was quite uh, a sign from the destiny, because we are we're born in the same month, just 4 days difference. Our both names starts with A. We just let's say match with each other. We spent amazing 5 months, 6 months there. Then he came to Bulgaria.
And what did he think when he came to Bulgaria?
He actually liked it because honestly, his grandfather is from Croatia, and after the Second World War, he immigrated to Peru, and there he built his family. So one way or another, even if my husband never have been to Croatia or doesn't know anything about Croatia, he still keeps in his blood, let's say in his genes, this Balkan spirit.
The Balkan blood is strong.
Yeah.
That's
So I believe that in general he liked it a lot here, the nature and everything, and actually he was the reason why I just decided to give it a second chance to Bulgaria, let's say in this way.
I've heard him talk about Bulgaria, and when I go to the coffee place, and he really, sometimes he's a bigger Bulgarian nationalist than what I hear from Bulgarians here when we talk about Bulgaria. He seems to really believe in the country and the possibilities here, and he believes it's a great place.
Well, yeah, I mean, one day we were just talking. I mean, this was still in the very beginning, and he told me, okay, what are your plans for the future? And I told him, well, I just imagine to finish my career, and I always wanted to have like a small cute coffee shop or pastry somewhere for example, in Germany or somewhere else abroad, like to make coffee and to bake cookies and desserts all day long. And he told me, but you mentioned before that your dad has a coffee business in Bulgaria, correct? And I told him, yeah. So he said, okay, so why would you choose to start over from zero by yourself in another place if basically this is the same thing that he has there already? So why don't you just try to give it a chance there in Bulgaria? And then when the situation became more serious between us, we already knew that if we want to build a family in the future, we need to choose between Bulgaria or Peru to start our life together, because raising kids all on your own as a foreigner in a third country sounds a little bit, let's say, hard for us. So that's why, as I didn't have many options in Peru, because they don't accept my career, I mean, my major or anything. The only option for me there is to be a babysitter or housekeeper.
And what career then were you planning to build?
Well, I was studying by this time economics and international economic relations, international business, and so on. Those were the majors. So I was thinking something to work something in this, let's say, in this direction. So if I go there, like, I don't know Spanish, so for me the future is like zero. I mean, to be something like pretty basic. And I said, no, this is not my idea. I mean, learning like 4 languages and with master degree to go there and to be a housekeeper doesn't sound good. So I just proposed him, hey, why don't you just move to Bulgaria and we help into the family business? And this is what actually we did.
Yeah, and then you guys decided that you want to expand the awareness, I think, of your coffee business and open a coffee place here in Sofia.
Yeah.
And maybe can we go into some of the challenges along the way of opening your own coffee place? I can imagine that a lot of people always thought of, oh, maybe I can start something here in Bulgaria. But the question is, or I think most people have it in their minds, there are a lot of blockers, right? It would be very difficult to open something here in Sofia or in Bulgaria. So what are some of those things?
I think that this is a pretty good part of our personality of the Bulgarians, that most of the people, they say, okay, I don't need a boss anymore, so I can do my own business. But not everyone can have their own business. Unfortunately, this is a serious topic, and just because you have some money aside for you to go ahead and open business without knowing what you're doing, it's let's say pretty risky. In the beginning, as I said, we started in my dad's business, and we were really young. We were full of let's say theoretical knowledge, and we started criticizing how he does this, how he did this before or that, and so on, complaining all the time, and not even realizing how hard it is to have business on your own. Of course, now when we had to open our own business, because the coffee shop actually, I mean, it's related with the brand of the mother company, but it's a business just of my husband and I. So it was really hard. I mean, the whole bureaucracy, the whole documents, the whole procedures, everything. I mean, thanks God that I had my dad aside, and then he gave us a lot of help with these kind of things. He also was the one who, together with my husband, they made the whole place. I mean, most of the place, let's say, because the place is pretty central, and a lot of companies refused to work on the place because was there were really small things that they need to be done in order for us to open. So then by the end of the day, after a few, let's say, refusals, we just had to do it on our own.
But
So,
you guys, why would someone refuse to improve or to do some construction
because the money that they will get is not worthy for the thing that, for example, you have to pay a parking zone every day and this kind of thing. So by the end of the day, the balance, it's not, let's say, it's not desirable for these kind of companies. They prefer to get, I know, a whole apartment and get much more money somewhere in the suburbs, that they don't have to pay for parking. They can do whatever they need to be done. And so, yeah, they never gave us a clear answer. They just said, yeah, no, thank you, just find another one. And after a while, we just decided just not to waste more time. We did it, I mean, my husband and my dad, they did it by themselves. It was pretty cosmetical, let's say, changes. The place was quite good itself.
Yeah.
And then we had interior designer, and the whole interior was done by another company. But let's say the walls and this kind of like constructional things, they were done by Alex and Dad.
So a lot of things, a lot of the challenges that you guys had in terms of building things has been around family, community, helping you out to get started. But if we move forward, what are some other things that have come about once you open the place and everything is set? Was it hard bringing out the news that you guys exist, getting people to come?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we already had like maybe around 6 years experience in the coffee industry, so we knew what we need to do in order to set the basis of the business. Also, we both, me and Alex, we have been studying some kind of like a business majors. I mean, he passed like brand management. He also was studying like international economics, international trade, me as well. So we had more or less like some kind of basis how to set the business.
The theoretical knowledge.
But yeah, I mean, we had already experience. I mean, from the other company, it's pretty early to say if all the people know about us, if we're famous enough or so on. We're still working on this process, and we still have a long way to go. However, I believe that so far the situation is going good and gives us a really good feedback that the things that we're doing so far are correct, and we should just keep going.
And if you were to tell our audience one thing they need to know about opening a business here in Bulgaria, what will be this one thing?
I always like to say, because I also teach people that they want to open their own business in barista. I mean, I teach them how to set the basics of the barista, of making coffee and so on. And I always tell them the first thing that I think the most important thing is that you just need to sit down and do your homework. You need to know who you are, what you're gonna do, why you're gonna do it, and how you're gonna do it. You need to have a really clear idea. You have to sit down and you just need to be prepared, because most of the people, they just forward to start doing the things without having a clear idea. Okay, maybe in our case, let's say I'm gonna open a coffee shop, but I'm gonna bake croissants, and I'm gonna also sell alcohol drinks, and I'm also gonna make events. And then by the end of the day, you just waste your energy in too many things, trying to do too many things, and you lose your authenticity. So first, you need to know who you are, because you have all kind of coffee shops, you have all kind of restaurants. You're not gonna not gonna open something unique most of the chances. I mean, maybe you're one in I don't know, in thousand, that you're gonna open something pretty unique that hasn't existed never before. But come on, I mean, opening a coffee shop, for sure there is exactly the same coffee shop somewhere, not even maybe in Bulgaria, but in another countries, and you're not gonna be something new. You're not gonna do something unique, new, as we like to say here in Bulgaria, to find out the warm water. I don't know if this is the correct translation, but I hope
so
that
you should find that one thing that makes you stick out and stick to it, and don't get too distracted. Be focused on that one thing.
exactly, and you need to know who you are. I mean, what you want to do, what brings you joy. And when you do something that you love, that you're passionate about, the money day comes. Most of the time, people just focus on the money, and they're just trying to get the advantage of the whole situation. And by the end of the day, they just lose everything, because they just lose themselves.
Yeah.
And this is the big thing in the business.
Yeah, I agree. I see that quite often, that people just go into an idea because they want to make some money. They don't succeed because they spread themselves too thin, or they're all looking for the hack. What is the hack? How can I become a millionaire overnight? But that doesn't always work out very well.
Yeah, it's the same as I want to get fit for the summer, and I have been eating cakes and junk food like 5 years, but now I have 1 week to get fit. I mean, it doesn't happen like this. So it's the same thing as business.
How has the decision to stay here impacted your personal, social life? How has staying here in Bulgaria impacted you?
I think that I did a good choice. I mean, so far I'm still young. I'm still, let's say, developing myself and my personal life. And I believe that I'm still not in the beginning, but let's say in the first part of it. So I cannot say for sure if this is the right thing. So far, I feel it like the correct thing. And I always, when I talk with people about living in Bulgaria or living abroad, or this topic in general, I always tell them that I believe that it's not the place, but it's the people and the thing that surrounds you. What I mean is that you can feel happy in Bulgaria or in Germany or in somewhere in a small village in South Africa, for example. It doesn't matter, as long as you have the positive attitude that this is what makes you happy, and you can work on it. Because if you live in Sofia or you live in Munich or Paris, the life is not easier. I mean, just because you live in certain city, the life is not easier. Maybe it's true that you have more opportunities or something's gonna happen easier than another, but I think that always there is pros and cons in every place, and there does not exist a perfect place for living. I mean, I was always, let's say, creating this perfect idea about Germany, and as soon as I went there and I got to live just for 6 months, I realized that there is neither perfect. I mean, yes, it's really clean on the streets and really quiet, but also you have a lot of, let's say, laws that rules that you have to follow. And one of the examples that I always do is like, you are obligated to recycle your trash in four different groups, which is perfect, right? But also you're obligated, for example, the glass trash, you have to recycle it in another tree. And you have to go like 20 minutes by walk on the other side of the city for you to do so.
Yeah.
So you have to combine a bunch of bottles in your home, and then once a week, for example, to walk 30 minutes until you throw it. And this is something that you're obligated.
Yeah.
Like half of the YouTube is restricted, not half, like 80% of YouTube you cannot even watch it.
I heard about this, which I find very strange. Why Germany?
Yeah, it's like you go on YouTube and you put Beyonce single ladies and you cannot watch the video. You have to pay. And there are a lot of things that we don't know about this as long as we don't go there to live and to feel it. And that's why I say that neither there is perfect. For people who have been living 20 years in Bulgaria and perfectly knows the Munda and Arena and these kind of places, to go there, it's really, let's say,
a shock.
Challenging.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a shock because...
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but of course I'm not saying that those things are bad. Actually, it's really good to recycle. It's really good to pay for the movies that you watch. I mean, this is the correct thing. But what I say that from the perspective of the Bulgarians who never recycle, this is pretty challenging.
No, I definitely think you have a point that it's a different mindset, and it's always good to go out and to see how it is. I recently talked with someone who had moved from the Netherlands to here, and his comment was he has a sense of freedom in Bulgaria that he's never felt in the Netherlands, and that's why he likes it here. He says, I feel free, I can do what I want. Of course, there are laws, but I don't feel the peer pressure that he feels, for instance, when he's in the Netherlands. And I find that true, actually. And I was just recently in the Netherlands, and it has this impact on me that I just feel again I'm going into a box. And now I'm in a box again.
I mean, of course, the rules and the regulations are good and they give us a better life. That's why in the most places like Canada or Germany, the life looks more regulated and more better in terms of things. But for example, in Denmark, like I've heard from one girl that she told me like 60% of the money of your salary, they go for taxes. Another friend of mine, she told me that half of her salary just go for kindergarten of her kids, and they have to work like 12 hours per day just to afford for a kindergarten in USA, in Texas. So bottom line, life never is easy and never is perfect, and the place or the certain city does not make it like this. You make it. Your attitude and your family, your friends, the people that surround you, this is what makes the life good and makes you happy. So I believe that people have to stop thinking and focusing on the locations, and they have to start focusing on themselves and what they can do in order for them to be happy and to be to feel fulfilled from their life and to follow their dreams and everything beautiful there.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. If you are to look 5 years ahead, what would you like to see happen in your life or also here in Bulgaria? What is a dream that you have?
Actually, like I think 3 or 4 years ago, I had an interview for our blog that we have with Martinez, and I had the same question, like, how you imagine yourself 5 years from now? And I thought by this time that I imagine myself with one kid. Okay, so far, so good. I have already one kid. Maybe 5 years from now, I would like to maybe have another kid by this time. God knows. And this is in terms of personal life. Anything, I mean, I don't want to change anything else in there. I mean, I'm good so far. So, and in my career, maybe at least 1 or 2 another coffee shops, another locations. I have been always really into competing in the world stage of coffee. So I hope that one day I'll have this ability to pursue something like this, to compete. I mean, actually, I won already one small championship, but I would like to go for the world ones, like the official world championships, and to compete for Bulgaria. I hope so.
Yeah. Is that the impact you would like to have here in Bulgaria?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of our main business causes, and our goal as a business is to build a coffee culture in Bulgaria, to increase it, to aware people about the coffee and all the good things that it brings, and specialty coffee in instance as well. This is something that we follow to grow the culture, and I believe that even not myself personally, but if Bulgaria managed to organize themselves and to get the whole credits to make championships and to be able to send Bulgarian competitors to the world stage to compete there, even not winning, but just competing and to go maybe in top 5, this is gonna help a lot the whole industry. This is gonna grow a lot the coffee culture and the awareness that there is a small country called Bulgaria that has a pretty amazing coffees as well. And I have people coming from all different countries all the time in the coffee shop, and they always tell me that the coffee is pretty good, obviously. And they tell me, you know what? It's like, if you have the same coffee shop in Netherlands, you will be a star there, for example. Or your coffee shop is not any less than any other coffee shop in USA or Germany or France or whatever. I mean, we have the potential. We just need the stage, let's say it this way.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Last question. So we're in our podcast, we have this tradition.
I'm excited.
Where we ask people to draw a question from the bowl. So go ahead and draw a question and answer. Read it out loud and
the middle
answer
one.
It. Okay.
What's your favorite Bulgarian tradition or celebration? What do you usually do to celebrate? For sure, my favorite one is Christmas, and maybe I would say Budni Večer because it's related.
So that is Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah. I think that in general, I mean, I'm born like 3 days before Christmas. My husband and my kid are the day after Christmas on 26th. So for us, for the whole family, always Christmas and the days around is pretty emotional and pretty special. So for me, this is the favorite, let's say the favorite celebration or the favorite holiday, the Christmas Eve. And I always love to bring people to Bulgaria for Christmas and to show them this specific tradition that we have with the dishes that are 7 or 9, that we don't eat any kind of meat. It's like literally like vegan dinner. Also, we have this bread with the logs inside and so on. So basically, I would say that this is my favorite one.
Oh, that's a good one, Christmas. Yeah. I agree. It's a great tradition around here. And not many people have this, like in the West, you don't have these traditions of eating only vegan, actually. It has to be specifically no meat, no dairy, and celebrating. And then there's Christmas Day when you eat all of the meat that you didn't eat the night before. The night before.
Yeah.
But it's just a great celebration.
I love getting together with my mom and with my grandma and cooking all those specific dishes. It's like you eat bean soups through the year, but when you make it for Christmas Eve, it's like a little bit different. And like always, it's more delicious, the food there. And you're excited that, oh my God, now we're going to eat the sarmi, the stuffed peppers and so on and this kind of thing. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Anes, for joining our podcast. I really enjoyed having you here. And
thank you.
I like listening to all of your stories. Thank you for telling us about your time abroad and what that process looked like and giving us a bit of perspective of what it's like opening a business here in Bulgaria. I think it's very valuable because if someone from abroad were to come back, one of the first questions is, how do I make money here? What are these first steps that I have to take? So, and I love hearing your perspective on how to start a business, and whether you live here in Munich, it's all about you and the community around you, not so much about the government or what is happening outside. Those things happen everywhere. Exactly. It's more about what's happening around you and how you contribute to that. So I always enjoy talking with you, and I'm happy that you came here to talk with us. If you would like to see her journey here in Bulgaria or visit her coffee place, Martinez Roastery and Coffee Shop, you can see that down below in the notes. And also, thank you for listening to this podcast in this episode. I hope Anes's story has inspired you and given you a bit of perspective of what it's like to open a business here in Bulgaria. And if you like this episode, don't forget to subscribe wherever you've got your podcasts and share it with a friend, whether they're living abroad or in Bulgaria. I'm sure there's so many thought-provoking ideas that they can find here in this podcast. Thank you for listening, and go out and do something awesome today.